Hey everyone, welcome back to BetMeADate. I'm Dr. Aviva Gaskill, and today I'm going to be telling you about some more dating bloopers. Don't forget to subscribe, ring the bell, and like us. Check out more videos every Sunday and Thursday at 6 p.m. Okay, so I'm going to be reading you some more dating bloopers today. Check these out. Some of these are pretty wild, especially number one. So this one's a long one. For starters, the story is absolutely insane. Only a handful of people know the story. It is crazy. I would go out every Wednesday with the same group of friends, had friends in bands we would go see. And I met this guy. He was always there too. I thought he was friends with my friends' friends. He was totally my type. Funny and a great smile and very smart. He wanted to take me out on a date. He picked me up in his brand new Mercedes, took me into the city to a completely romantic restaurant. We talked, we ate, we laughed, we had an incredible time. It was the perfect first date. A few days later, he called me and wanted to take me out on a Saturday night. He picked me up in an old work truck. He had a whole story about his car being in the shop, and this was his vehicle. He owned a remodeling business. Naturally, I had no reason not to believe him, but something didn't feel right here. Should have trusted my instincts, but I didn't see because I was young and I was dumb, and I never saw the Mercedes again. He officially asked me to be his girlfriend, and we made it official on social media. Right after this, I started getting messages from a crazy female who claimed she was his fiance, but she was crazy. All of a sudden, my friends count started decreasing. Come to find out, my boyfriend was messaging all the guys on my page from an account pretending to be me to try and solicit sex. Ugh. All those guys were my friends, nothing more. I found out later he put a tracker on my computer where he could get my passwords. Ugh. This was the beginning of the end. He was so crazy jealous of everyone I interacted with, male or female, even my mom. He didn't want me to go out with my friends anymore or really do anything other than spend time with him or work. But even my work began to be a problem for him. I had to quit and get another job, which I eventually got fired from because of him. He also wanted me to stop taking birth control. He took my birth control. I ended up getting more behind his back. One night, he forced me to watch porn while we were being intimate. It was gay porn. I guess he thought it would turn me on, but in reality, I was kind of turned off by it, and I saw that he was the only one who was turned on by it. The following night, I went to his house, and there was candlelight all over the house and roses leading up to his bedroom with a note that said, "Come find me." I found him, completely naked in his bed, covered in baby oil, covered in head to toe, masturbating. He had a big dildo on his nightstand. He begged me to use it on him. No judgment, so I did it. I remained fully clothed while he did his thing, and after completion, I left, like completely unsure about what just happened. I went home and didn't answer my phone. He showed up at my apartment, got on top of my car, poured a bag of things that I got him in our 6-month relationship, dumping me. It was very dramatic. Lots of yelling, and the cops were called, but he left before the cops got there. It was my birthday, and he showed up at my job in a business suit. I was not impressed, and a dozen roses and a stuffed animal. I took the roses and threw them on the floor, stomped on them, and tossed the stuffed animal in the trash and left. He was then escorted out of the building. That night, I went out with my friends to celebrate my birthday. I stayed out pretty late and had to go to work hungover the next morning. I was young. I was surprisingly on time until my car caught on fire. My car was on the news for holding up traffic. Anyhow, he called me and told me to check my social media. It was a photo of my car on fire with me superimposed into it, holding a hot dog, roasting it on fire. Caption, "Look what I did." Creepy, so creepy. I had to get the cops involved. It was a fucking mess, and I didn't date for 5 years after that. Another story. The first was the guy I met at a bar, and I just wasn't feeling it at all. He just kept showing me cat pictures on his phone. The bar was an hour from my home, and I was spending the night with my roommate at her parents' house so that she was at the same bar with her boyfriend doing the same thing. When they were about to leave, they asked if they could walk me to my car. The guy interjected as I'm about to accept and saying, no, he'll take me. Fine, I can spend another half an hour with the guy. When we finish up, instead of walking me to my car, he walks me to his car and drives me to my car. Except neither of us know the area, and he ends up driving on a one-way street, going away from the parking garage I had parked in. He pulled over on the side of the road and told me to get out and walk the rest of the way, even though it was his fault. And I mention that it was 1:30 a.m.? As I'm getting out of the car, completely stunned, he adds, maybe I'll see you around sometime. He didn't even wait for me to cross the street before driving away. The second story apparently isn't as bad. He drove an hour and a half to be able to meet me in person, which I did actually appreciate. When he gets to my house to pick me up, he turns on the light and says, I just want to make sure you look like your profile picture or I'll be leaving now. I picked a vegetarian restaurant that was quite inexpensive, but one that I enjoyed. He made fun of me for both the price point and the lack of meat. On the way home, he was driving double the speed limit, and I warned him that there's a family of deer that's often around the next curve. He tells me not to worry too much. He calls me a grandma and speeds up to 80 miles an hour in the residential neighborhood. Not so sexy. He also made fun of my level of religiosity during the night, many times. Here's another dating nightmare. Many years ago, I was dating the man who's been my husband for almost 21 years now, and I lived in New York while he lived in Philly. So not everyone in my world knew him or even knew that he existed. One day, sort of out of nowhere, a nice guy I had known my whole life because he was an older brother's good friend, got in touch with me and told me he had 2 tickets to the US Open and am I free Sunday to attend the games? So I said, sure, I'd love to go. Sunday came around and the day was gorgeous. The games were really fun. At some point, I realized that he was totally unaware and not realizing that he thought that this was a date. Well, I did not realize that. I told him that I felt so sorry. This was a super wonderful, nice guy, good looking, funny, smart, great family, someone I've known forever. I just didn't know it was a date or I wouldn't have gone. I once signed up for an online dating site that I didn't realize was more than a hookup site than a real dating site. So I met up with this really cute guy at a bar and I realized about 15 minutes in that this cute guy just was there to hook up. Luckily, we both got a laugh out of it. However, he proceeded to contact me for weeks to see if I had changed my mind about whether I wanted to hook up with him. I went out on a date with a guy and it was fine, but I just wasn't feeling it. I would have considered going out again if he'd asked, but it was definitely not a no either. The date ended and he drove me back to my house and said, I think it was nice, but I just don't think we're a good match for each other. I thought he was being a little blunt, but I nodded in agreement. Then he said to me, but I'd love a blowjob before you leave. I promptly got out of the car and slammed the door. And our last story of dating glory is I ended up dating 2 guys. It turned out they were brothers. Thanks again so much for listening to all these dating bloopers. I hope you enjoyed them. Maybe they reminded you of funny things that happened in your past. Maybe they reminded you of some horrible dates that you went on. Please let us know if you have any good dating stories to share. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment below. We'd love to hear your dating bloopers, your dating stories, and your dating nightmares. And don't forget to check out new videos every Sunday and Thursday at 6 p.m. and check us out on BetMeADate.com.